Welcome back to another Achieve Podcast episode. Today we got Jake and Cade, and we're going to be talking about appearances. As you can see, we're dressed up. We've got a formal to go to in about 2 hours. Semi-formal for athletes. And we just wanted to hop on here and talk real quick because we had some ideas flowing, some thoughts going out about how we're looking, how we're feeling, and just kind of how professional we feel when we look professional. So that was kind of what spawned this. So, Cade, I'll let you take it away.
Something I always wondered, I was like, if I were the last person on the planet, what would I dress up in? Like, what would I wear?
Interesting.
And I would probably wear, like, cargo pants.
Just,
and, like...
What,
like,
so you have a lot of stuff to store?
Yeah, literally.
I guess.
Like, if we're going for straight utility...
So the appearance doesn't matter there.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Is like,
right?
if I would probably wear, like, cargo pants and, like...
Is there a certain number of people where the appearance starts to matter?
Probably.
One other?
I mean, if there's females, then it would probably matter more than if it was just guys.
Well, that's if you want to achieve females, but what
I
if...
think that is the goal of life. I would.
Are we going to have a subgroup for that?
I feel like in that situation, if it was the end of the world, like... If
true.
It probably,
Yeah.
I mean, it probably wouldn't matter.
I meant today, like
Anyway,
does the appearance
that's
matter
not-
with me?
No, I would. I mean, I'm not going to be naked in front of you, but I don't think I would.
Not
do
even 2
anything
minutes
special.
in. Not even 2 minutes in. No, but, like, when I got my first job, I worked at 24 Hour Fitness as the opener over the summer. Fun fact, I could have walked in wearing a car tarp and gravy boats for shoes, and they would have hired me because I showed up every day at 4:30 in the morning, and there wasn't exactly a line out the door of people that were wanting to do that. So, but even though I dressed up for the interview and everything, and I had a resume prepared, they were like, "Yeah, you definitely have the job." And I heard stories of people not even having to interview because they dress better than every other candidate and stuff.
Yeah.
But
Can definitely get you in the door.
I mean, first impression, aren't there studies that say, like, people make their decision on you in the first, like, 0.1 seconds, not even, like, on just who you are as a person. And, of course, you can change a little bit, but it's the blink of an eye. Like, it's everything. And I don't know, it's crazy. I go to class and I like to wear khakis, not sweatpants. It doesn't even matter, but, like, I feel more productive personally, and then other people probably see that from me just because I feel that way.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, that is one huge thing. They say, like, when you encounter a stranger and you have a dog and the dog starts freaking out and you go, oh my gosh, this must be a bad person, or like, I knew I had a bad feeling about this, now the dog's freaking out. It's actually not that the dog is sensing anything from the other person. It's that the dog is sensing your nerves because you're already perceiving it, and then it's just you notice it when the dog is freaking out, which I feel like is something with dressing up where you're more professional, you act better subconsciously, and then somebody might point it out, and then you go, oh, no way, maybe that is why.
I wonder about stay-at-home jobs and that appearance routine.
Oh, 100%.
Like, do you get up and shower and do your hair every morning, or do you put on a polo with your pajama pants
Right.
under the Zoom camera?
I always wondered if in an interview they said, stand up. what pants are you wearing? They never would. They never would, but obviously they never would. But like, would you think less of someone if they weren't wearing actual pants, or is it like they're just taking advantage of their situation?
I mean, I think I would think less of them, personally.
Really?
I mean, I would get it. I would understand. But I think in a professional setting, if they, like, accidentally got up to get something and they're wearing shorts, I'd be like, damn.
Yeah.
They're not what I thought they were.
No, but that thing, like, working from home in general, like, I feel like it's so important. I've never worked from home, but, like, over COVID studying and stuff like that, it's so important to, like, take your routine seriously and
100%.
put yourself into, like, the productivity mindset before you start doing what you're supposed to be doing with online classes and stuff.
Yeah.
When I would just roll out of bed before an 8 a.m. and join the Zoom, I was retaining nothing.
Yeah, especially when I would, like, hop on the Zoom, still be in bed, half awake, not taking notes, not looking at the camera, and then fall asleep, and then wake up, and, class is over. Like, that would happen more than I like to admit.
Well, it's interesting what they say with routine, too, because you're like, oh, I'm out of my routine right now, but you're not out of your routine, you're just in a bad routine, Like, if you're laying in your bed every day, just sitting on your phone, like, that's your routine.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Which is just, you want to get in a better one.
Yeah.
Either way, you're in one.
As opposed to, like, vacation, which would get you out of your routine.
True. Yeah.
Because I do get that. Like, getting out
It
of...
happens, yeah.
Like, traveling for
Not
track...
to me.
Traveling for track gets me out of my routine all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I go somewhere and like I've developed all these habits on the week or like the weeks leading up, and then we start traveling, and then I leave, and my Sunday's not the same as my usual Sunday. Like I don't plan things out, and then I roll into the next week unprepared, and I'm like, what happened? And it really started that Friday when I left and didn't do what I was supposed to do, and then things just kind of crescendo a little bit once one bad thing happens.
That's what I'm saying.
We're having a podcast. That's the other thing with glasses too. I threw these on. These are blue light glasses, so I don't need them. But when I used to wear glasses, when I was in high school, I wore glasses for 2 years, and the amount of times people would say something about me being smart or like assume that I would know something, and then I took them off, and I just kind of became.
And you didn't know anything.
Like literally, like,
Yeah.
but I thought like people perceived me as smarter, and then I took them off, and I was like, oh my gosh, I lost that. But people also perceive me as less confrontational, less aggressive, and I was like, it's kind of crazy because you know
You are those things.
right, exactly. Like I'm a monster inside, but I put the glasses on, all of a sudden I become an intellectual.
Clark Kent over here.
No, but it's
Well, that's what I wonder if there's something to say for the fact where, you know, someone does judge you in the first 0.1 seconds. Like, does that mean when you see someone, you're like, oh, he's cool, or oh, he's athletic, or oh, he's smart? Should you trust your gut, or you might be wrong?
right. There's a great book by Malcolm Gladwell called.
Outliers.
No, it's called something Strangers. Meeting Strangers. It's called Blink. No, it's called Blink. I'm sorry.
Say the
I'm
last
sorry. It's called Blink, and it's all about that the initial reaction is usually right, but we tend to overthink things that don't matter, or and then underthink things that do matter. Like if you're trying to make a decision about a college, it's a lot of times better to go with your gut feeling about the college than to write out every single part of it. Like with love life. That's another huge thing. It's like some of these guys in this study were like, yeah, I love this girl more than I loved any other girl, but I went with this other one because financially it made more sense and our values were the same and all this, and all those people would end up getting a divorce, and then they would sometimes go back to the original one or not at all, and they were like, that is the only person I truly loved. So then
if you think about it logically, like an evolutionary natural selection standpoint, thinking and making decisions based off your gut brought humans pretty far. And the ones that survived probably made some decisions based off their gut feelings.
Absolutely.
Yeah. It's funny how we're like, make the decision off feeling, not logic. And he's like, think about it logically, though.
No, I mean, it's
Use your
it's
gut
crazy.
feeling to think about it logically.
Yeah. And then people will just like not think about, eating out every night. As like they'll just, I want to eat out. I'm gonna go eat out. And then all of a sudden financially they're like, why am I in this position that I'm in? It's like, if you had written that out, if you really thought about that decision more on a logical level, you would be, happier than you are now. But
So how do you decipher between what you go off feeling and what you go off logic?
that's what the book is all about. And literally he says,
Read the book.
yeah.
Blink by Malcolm Gladwell?
Blink by Malcolm Gladwell. It's also like, the rule of thumb that he gave was go with your gut on something that really matters and is like a life-changing decision, and then everything else you should probably
especially
think through.
because if you think about it, something like love is a feeling, so why would you not go off how you feel?
Right,
Like,
right, exactly. And then he also was just making the point. There's actually another book called The Gift of Fear, which is where
fear has kept humans alive for thousands of years.
Exactly.
We're afraid of snakes and spiders. It's because people died from getting bitten
by snakes
and spiders.
That's where the dog thing came from. That's where I got that. But The Gift of Fear is all about like people who got kidnapped or were harmed or raped by someone, and they knew when they met them immediately something bad. Like they felt it, and they just didn't listen because the perpetrator gave them all this evidence to believe they were a good person. Yeah. But they knew in their heart, like...
That sounds like Ted Bundy almost.
Well, yeah. So one of the stories was this guy went up to an apartment complex, and this single lady was unloading her groceries, and he goes, hey, let me give you a hand. And she like immediately got a bad feeling, was like, no, I'm okay. And he's like, no, just real quick, I'm your neighbor, like I'll help you out, like let me just grab another bag so you don't have to make 2 trips. Mm-hmm. And then she's like thinking about it logically, and she's like, he looks like a nice man, he's dressed well, he's one of my neighbors, I do need a hand, I am in a hurry. And she let him in, and he did some horrible things to her. And then she talked to a therapist about it, and then talked to the author of the book, and was like, I knew immediately what was going to happen.
Yeah.
I just didn't listen. And he even, like, I think she said, you can just drop it at the door, and he was like, no, I'll take it in. Like, why would I drop it? Like, it was just so, the logic got mixed up for her, and, so go with your gut. If you're really feeling something, go with your gut.
Do you guys know anybody that says, like, I'm a very intuitive person, and then they just say everything they're thinking, and then 10% of the time, whenever it's true, they're like, I told you it's true, I told you it's going to happen.
Why are you talking about me?
I mean...
I do say I'm a very intuitive person.
I don't think I am.
And I also say a lot of shit, a lot of stuff right off the top.
Yeah.
That's purely because when I took, like, the Myers-Briggs test, I got way more intuitive than sensing. Which I know is horrible, but it's also because I'm a little bit oblivious to the 5 sentences.
You're also a Pisces.
Myers-Briggs. Yeah, what a stupid little test. 40 questions are going to tell you how you should live your life. Also, with that test, people think, like, oh, you're an extrovert or an introvert, and it's like, you like people or you don't like people. That is not what that means. It is literally about where do you derive your energy from, and do you need to recharge versus getting energy from being with people. Like, one of the dumbest things if you don't read into it, but...
I feel like sometimes I can't truly relax when I'm with somebody.
You're probably an introvert a little bit.
No, I've definitely felt that before.
Social anxiety?
I mean...
What do you think, you're an introvert or extrovert?
It's not anxiety. Well,
I think I'm an introvert, and I just have people that I like, that I'm willing to hang out with.
Appreciate that.
Interesting. I guess, it's just a spectrum between introvert and extrovert, and you're saying you're slightly on the introvert side?
They're also ambiverts that switch.
I don't know if that's true, to be honest.
I've heard it said before. It could not be true, I don't know.
Jamie
it's anybody's definition of it, but...
I'm sure. Well, that is weird. I don't know. I definitely get energy from being around people, but... I mean, yeah. I if you get energy from being around people, then you're an extrovert.
But also, like,
yeah.
I love being alone.
If you're saying
sometimes.
you switch, that just means in some settings you're
I'm not saying I switch.
No, I know, but like say
so stop saying I switch.
you in the abstract.
Say in Spanish.
If there was a spectrum 0 to 100% introvert extrovert, and you're like 25%, which means you're mostly an introvert. In some settings, you'll still be extroverted. That doesn't mean you switch. You're just like
on that gender theory.
Well, if you believe gender is a spectrum, then yeah, it's the same thing. Personally, I wouldn't say so. But it's just a definition of the word. Like, it doesn't really matter, to be honest.
You got kind of existential there at the end.
I mean, seriously.
It just went nihilistic.
Well, never mind, actually.
I would say, though, sometimes when I'm home alone and, like, I really don't want to be around anybody, and I'll just go and, like, read in my room or something or play a video game, which I rarely do here, I do get recharged, like, intellectually. Like, I get motivated to do more in that space. If that makes sense.
I literally chose not to live in this house with you guys because you guys hang out too much. I was like, I can't do that. I want to spend more time in my room. I was like, I'm not going to be here.
It's so
guys.
hard to do work when 9 fucking people walk in. Like,
dude, that's what I'm saying. Like, I have like the most quiet roommates, and I sometimes tell them during like a Thursday night football game, like, guys, I have a test tomorrow. Can you please quiet down? Like, oh yeah, sure, no problem.
Yeah.
And it's like one day a week.
If you said that here, they'd be like, go to the fucking library, dude.
Yeah.
Like, sleep somewhere else. Yeah, we do have quite a bit of action going on at all times. I love it though. It only hurts.
That's why I'm here on the weekends, not during weekdays.
Yeah.
I have stuff to do.
That's what Andrew fights every week. He's like, I just want to focus.
I have a question back to appearances. Like, say, specifically for a business, like, you walk into a store or you open their website or app, and you get a mixed feeling. Something like, it's nice, but they're pretending to be nice. Or, these deals are good, but it might be cheap. And it's kind of like both, and you don't really have a feeling.
You know when I get that a lot is Instagram ads. They post something cool on their story. They're like, oh wait, I would actually wear that hat.
Yeah,
and then I go to the website and they have like 2 things for sale. I'm like,
yeah,
right, this is definitely...
Or it's like free, you gotta pay for shipping, and you're like, alright, this can't be that high quality. But it's like, what are you supposed to feel? Or is it possible you don't get a feeling from it, or no?
You can be indifferent to an initial thing.
Well, it sounds like your emotional response is that you like it or perceive it as cool, and then
You're hesitant?
your logical reasoning is like, this is too cheap, or this looks not quality, or there's too few products. So you're
Well, how do you decide?
cognitive bias. Well, you
Read the book.
don't.
True.
I mean,
I think if it's something that you've never, like a company you've never heard anything about, like you do have to trust a little bit of logic there. Like you
well, that's Malcolm Gladwell does say
Yeah.
for all small purchases, you should really do your homework.
There you go.
You know,
Yeah.
like you should never impulse buy a pair of shoes because there's probably a better deal or a better pair out there.
Yeah, I guess for the big things too, you've already heard so much about them. You don't have to research the backstory and stuff. You already kind of know.
Right.
I think it's a good advice, like making a gut feeling based off your house. Like, you got to look into the future and see if you're happy there.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to be able to figure that out based on square footage.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. It also makes big decisions easier. I feel like when you trust yourself, because like if you don't allow yourself to be trusted, and you're just looking logically, then you're not going to be happy in the decision either way. Because you're like, I was just trusting my logic. I didn't do what I wanted to do. But I mean, that's all. Cognitive dissonance, I think is the word. It's just when you're disagreeing with yourself based off feelings and logic.
Not destructive, I swear.
Yeah, CEO behavior.
He's busy.
There's going to be a coup.
He's busy, don't worry.
The venture capitalist.
What's the best you think you've ever looked, like appearance-wise?
I have one picture.
Right now,
January 15th,
I get better every day.
2023.
Yeah, right. At 3 p.m. specifically.
Do you mean like appearance-wise professionally, or like
Yeah,
naked? Once again, a couple minutes in. You know what I mean, though?
not naked.
Yeah, that's a good question actually.
I wasn't talking like aesthetic bodybuilding.
Yeah, okay. Pretty into that.
Had me fooled.
There's actually a picture where I'm wearing a suit where I'm getting on, really anything the track team has captured at ACCs. There's one freshman year where I was wearing this coat, actually, that I really like. And then
That was
there's
your Instagram profile picture for a while.
yes, and then there's another one where I was actually wearing a mask. Shout out COVID. And my hair just looks like there's no piece out of place, and I really like that.
Nice.
What about you?
I wore a fur coat as a kind of a meme last year.
That was good.
Our
I thought it was
our
really funny.
pictures.
So yeah, and there's a picture of me smoking a cigar wearing a fur coat.
I'm mad I wore the pink tie that day. I feel like I ruined the group pictures. I was walking in front of everybody, just repping the pink tie. Everybody looked good in a suit.
This
Yeah,
is
that's
funny
why
though.
you ruined the pictures.
This is something we should go into, but I haven't thought about your tie ever in my life.
Well,
And what I'm saying...
I'm really self-conscious. So
what I was going to say in that is, like, I feel like people and myself included, spend a lot of time thinking about stuff that nobody else focuses on.
Yeah.
You know, with your personal appearance, it's like you're placing all these little items and accoutrements.
But then
Like,
again,
I haven't
the
taken
personal
this wristband
appearance
off
does
over
matter
2
so
years.
much. That's what we're saying.
Right. Well,
And
yeah, me too. I've worn this
What's weird
consistently.
about it is what we're saying is the fact that the appearance matters because people will judge you for it, but they're not going to judge you for it. They won't remember you for it. They won't be like, oh, you're the guy. Well, I guess if it's the first time they're meeting you, yeah. But, if I'm friends with you and you do something, I might be like, that looks off. But the next day I'm not going to be like, oh, Jackson, like, you wore this. Like, you
Are you
ruined
just
the
describing
group.
the importance of first appearances versus second
I
appearances?
guess so, yeah.
Okay.
But either way, even if it's a second appearance, I might think it's off, but I've already judged you. So it'll still be off, but it's not you personally that I'm going at. So I guess the less you know about someone, the more you'll judge the little you do know.
I think Tame Impala wrote a song about that.
What is it?
The less I know, the better.
Anyway, what I was also gonna say. Fucking nothing. I've got nothing.
Thank God we can cut these.
I'm literally not cutting it. In the first appearance, I often think like I want to come across as smart or professional, and sometimes I feel like I lose personability with that. And that's like a tough balance to be personable, to be likable, and at the same time be like, I'm a professional at what I do.
I feel like
I don't really think people sacrifice that much if they dress nice.
yeah.
No, I'm not saying dress nice. I'm talking about my attitude.
So you're saying
Like you act different.
Yeah.
You literally
So
Jackson acts differently when you put a tie on.
yeah. Is that what
No,
you're saying?
no. When I'm making a first impression in a professional setting, like I just want to be like have my ducks in a row. You know.
You don't lose
you try
personality.
you try and be too professional is what you're saying, and you don't be personable.
I think yes. Yeah.
I think that's.
But
fair.
then, like, what I hit him with is, like, the, you know, tough guy at the beginning and then, like, soften up later on. So I, like, build that connection first and then just slowly chip away at it. But it's
also,
already
like-
so strong.
I'm just like such an all-star. You can't deny my personality.
Well, no, but honestly, like I feel like both of you are sort of that way, and if you think you do that sometimes, you're probably thinking, oh, I could have done better, but you're still better than 90% of people. You know what I mean?
Appreciate that.
I mean, I've never had a first impression with you in a professional setting, so I could be wrong. But,
Yeah, I just...
you know, it's judging yourself harshly when like you might be doing the right thing. It's
I
just you
chose to
could have
not
done
wear a
little better.
watch today because I haven't taken this wristband off in 2 years.
I mean, you could still wear a
It's
watch.
a dedication.
I could, but I also don't like, you know.
Yeah, like this, for example, I feel like isn't professional, but I'm not going to take it off because it's a part of me.
True to this, not new.
You wear
to
it with a
this.
suit?
Yeah, I will. I mean, it's just like, it's a live strong,
Even
you know?
when I broke my wrist and I had a cast, I put this up to my elbow and
Wow.
put it over the cast.
That's
Dang.
crazy.
This watch doesn't work.
See, that's a little bit appearance heavy, but that's how the world is now.
Jackson's pretty heavy on appearances.
Literally how it is. I mean, this watch costs $25 and it doesn't work, and
It's nice.
I resized it because I care about that. But
He's
you
lying
know,
on his phone.
it's literally just appearance. I mean, it's just appearance. People see you have a watch and they're like, "Oh, he's more put
You guys know how to
together."
tie a tie?
Obviously.
No,
It's not, you don't know how?
No.
You don't know how to do the infantry knot?
I will tell
Is that what
you.
it's called?
There is a certain way to tie your tie in the military.
There is. I've put on maybe a tie 10 times in my entire life.
I get pretty mad
I
when
hate
you have me
ties.
tie your tie.
You get mad?
Yeah, because I'm like, you're fucking 21.
That's probably valid. I can tie a bow tie. I just can't tie a regular tie.
That's way more difficult.
It is way more.
I know. I used to do that in high school. I used to be the bow tie kid.
Literally 2 loops and through. It's like, it's not that hard.
Also, those clip-on ties, like, they work just fine.
No, they don't.
I know they're
actually.
so frowned upon. I don't care. They look good. I'm literally joking.
Literally on the episode about appearances.
Because it's all about appearance. It's not
Well-
about what's underneath.
Who's that kid from Shark Boy and Lava Girl? He would have saved his dad if he didn't wear a clip-on tie.
Valid.
Never seen that.
I did. I know what you're referring to. Do we need to cover anything else? This is a short and quick one.
No.
Elephant in the room.
What's the elephant in the room?
Well, Jake, we have to bring this up to you. We've just been thinking about the shares of the company.
Have you been?
No, I actually haven't been. I'm talking on my ass. I think we're good to go. Let's just see how long we went here. And, 23 minutes.
Yeah, we can do worse than that.
That's pretty solid. We hope you had a good day.
How far could you run in 24 minutes at the fitness you're in right now?
I could run 2.1 miles.
24 minutes. I could run.
I hope I could hit 4 in 24 minutes,
That'd be
but I don't think I
that'd be
could. I
that'd be
don't
scoop,
think I
bro.
could.
I would say 4.5 for sure. I ran 7 sub 7 today, and I
good.
felt okay. All right.
How many squat reps with 315 could you do in 24 minutes?
Fucking 0?
Yeah. 0.
Yeah,
Literally
probably
none.
0.
I could not get that. I couldn't lift it up, I don't think. Like, I couldn't take steps back. You know what I mean? Off the
Maybe.
rack. Anyway.
Cool. Well, I'm glad we got this in.
Yeah, what you
I'll tell you
achieved
that.
today. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you want to see more of.